Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew and a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Hey, look, is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Weekly Joe podcast, the longest running and best podcast on Alabama baseball. And by longest running, I mean it usually goes a long time, right, Drew?
Yes, almost as long as our buds Tom and Gray as it pertains to softball. But
That's right.
We got a lot. We got a lot of opinions, and we like to share them.
That's right. Welcome back again, everybody. We've got a full house tonight. We got Griffin Smith here joining us from the Texas Bureau. We have Meghan Dennis from the Conway, South Carolina Bureau, where their chances of hosting are getting better by the minute over there. As usual, Drew Champlin coming to you from Dangerous Hoover. Roger Myers in the Tuscaloosa office, heading down to the southern office.
Probably passed through there on the way to Gainesville.
On the way. Okay, gotcha. And welcome back, the OG of Weekly Joe podcast and Twitter Spaces from those days. We have Hunter Johnson back for the first time this season. Hunter, welcome.
Very happy to be here. Although I saw where last week y'all went an hour and a half, and I was almost like, all right, maybe I can't do this tonight. But no, happy to be back, and it was a fun weekend at the Joe.
Absolutely.
That was a short. That was short.
That was short.
An hour 30 was short.
Hunter, obviously, you have to dig deep into basketball, and have a lot of commitments during basketball season with your podcast and pregame show, postgame show, as it were. Thoughts on the hoop season, how that ended?
I mean, when you lose your second best scorer at the beginning of the season, I mean, that's going to impact things. I think the fact that we were still able to get the second furthest we've ever been in program history, ran up against the Buzzsaw and Duke, I thought it was a really, really good season, and I'm excited about the roster we're putting together for next year. That's
good. Good deal. Impressions of the baseball team so far? You've been there a lot. I mean, obviously the basketball games sometimes take precedent for you, but you're there. What you're pleased with the direction of the program?
Absolutely pleased with the direction of the program. I'm going to, for new listeners, for people who didn't used to listen when I would be on here, I kind of had a rep for being a little bit of a negative person. So I'm not like Meghan and think it's a sweep every week. But when early in the season, when we were kind of on our run, I still, in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't think we're that good. I think we're pretty good. I don't think we're that good. But by God, this weekend against a top 10 team, you're able to get the series win. It wasn't pretty. You hit 217 doing it, but it's opportune timing. So I like where the program's heading. I mean, anytime you're in the host conversation this late, and I think we're on the right side of that hosting conversation. I know we'll talk more about that, but you're in a situation where if you get a win, one more win, you're probably going to. So I'm very pleased with the direction.
Great. And finally, before we get into the meat of the show tonight, you want to update us on where are the Savannah Bananas playing this week?
Do not tweet about the Savannah Bananas. It's not worth the crap that you're going to have to deal with in your mentions. I think it's got up to 1.5 million views, that tweet that I had. So maybe I just need to monetize it and only tweet about the Savannah Bananas.
Wait.
No, go ahead, Jim.
Never. I see June 19th in Savannah, Georgia is their next one, but I don't know I don't know how accurate that is. So sorry.
No, get a little break or something. Yeah. Do you think we'd ever see the Bananas at the Joe or maybe at Bryant Denny? Anybody? You looking forward to that, Roger? I know you really look forward to that.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Only after Jake Walters signs with them next year.
Exactly. Yeah, to play for their Washington Generals, whatever they call those guys. Yeah, absolutely. All right. For the panel, Meghan, you good one for you. Who gets it worse? Someone who says the wrong thing about Taylor Swift and any Taylor Swift album, on Twitter, or someone who says the wrong thing about the Savannah Bananas on Twitter?
I mean, that might be a Venn diagram that has a pretty large circle at some point.
I think it's 100% Taylor, because
It's
I was
gotta
selling
be.
basketball tickets to a guy. I think his name's Crimson Yenzer on Twitter. It's a guy named Jason. And he said he made a Taylor reference, and his people were like
Yeah.
tweeting him stuff about his daughter, and he just had to
Yeah.
delete his Twitter handle. So I think it's far and away that.
Yeah, you risk getting bludgeoned by 13 to 27-year-old girls if you say the wrong thing there. So anyway, welcome back, Hunter. Glad you survived the basketball season. More importantly, the Savannah Banana kerfuffle. All right, let's get into it. Alabama baseball. Probably one of the most bizarre weekends we've ever seen, just mainly because of the weather. Games get moved up on Friday. Kind of at the last minute. We rather than having a single at 6, we move up and try a doubleheader at 4. We get through 1. We get into the 5th inning of the 2nd. We'll talk a little bit about the rules on those. And then we go, it's about a 40-hour, I think I mentioned rain for 40 hours. It was like 40 days and 40 nights. We really just, drenched the field. Roger, you made a point that the grounds crew did a great job having that field ready to go by 10 a.m. on Sunday, because I don't know when they would have got the work in. Now, that field notoriously doesn't drain very well in the outfield, or at least that was the case a couple of years ago. Not if that's improved upon, but you just see the water pooling on the tracks. You see it all the way on the wall tracks and on the side tracks, but really was in great shape, and turned out to be a pretty darn good day for baseball, except for about 5-minute downpour on Sunday.
Tuscaloosa got over 4 inches of rain, and the fact that we were able to play 3 baseball games is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. So a big shout out to the crew. The guys pulling the tarp, the guys doing whatever they did out there to dry it. I don't know if we brought in the helicopter like we did for the football team that weekend. But as for the games, here comes Georgia. Team pretty well locked up for a regional host position, I think, coming into the weekend. I mean, obviously you could lose 6 straight games and fade. But in their case, I mean, they were sitting 1 in the RPI last week. They really were in a position where if they go on a heater these last 2 weekends, they could be a top 8 national seed or lock one up. They still could be. Drew, your thoughts on what you saw? Was that a top 8 national seed team in your eyes?
Offensively, yes. And they were missing probably their top guy. But pitching wise, they have a lot of talented arms, but really wasn't terribly impressed with their starting pitching after the first guy. And I really thought we could have gotten to him. I can't remember his name, but Curly. Yeah,
Curling.
so I mean, he was tough. 97, 98, got a good rip off of him, but I thought we left some on. But I thought the last 2 guys, the second guy wasn't very good at all.
Right.
And no, I don't have a frame of reference other than looking at their stats. But if they're playing games in Athens, I think I have a hard time seeing them lose games in Athens.
Yeah. Right. So a lot of this is going to depend on getting one of those top 8 seeds if they're going to get back to them. Griff, your thoughts? You caught these games this weekend. I assume you think anything of Georgia? Does Georgia make you shake in your boots? Maybe.
I think to Drew's point, I mean, having seen some of their games at home, they definitely are knocking it out of the park. But looking at their road statistics, they just have not played well anywhere on the road. So I think that's part of their kryptonite. And it was what I thought was quite a drop off after that first guy. So
yeah, no doubt.
I mean, everyone's beatable. I mean, no one's gone through the season unscathed in the SEC by I mean, again, I said it last week. Look again, Texas just drops another series, and they were 2 weeks ago supposed to be the #1 national seed. So I mean, sure, they still have a chance to be top 8, but didn't make it easier for themselves. That's for sure.
Right. Can anyone remember a 3-inning run where we gave up 18 runs over a 3-inning span? Roger, your thoughts?
It feels like we've done it a few times on Friday this year, but probably not 18. But
the only thing, the one that comes to mind for me, and I had no idea how it ended up. The Columbia game that where we got run. I might have to look that one up, but it almost felt like that game, didn't it?
I was also going to say Auburn 2018, the second
Mhm.
game of the doubleheader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
When that one was, it felt a whole lot like that.
Yeah.
We
It
needed the
was
run rule
just
that day, and it didn't exist.
home run after home run after home run. And it was
Yeah.
just, I mean, it was almost comical after a while. I mean, it
Kind of
just,
was. There was a point where you could there wasn't anything you could do but laugh. Like I went
Right.
down to the home plate club and was just like, oh, they hit another one. Oh, they hit another one.
It reminded me of the series that we had in 23 at Arkansas. I feel like we won the first game like 20 to
Yeah.
1 or something.
16 to 1.
18 to 1,
16,
18 to 1 or
18 to 1,
16
yeah.
to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Then
they
we
came
lost
back
the
and
next-
won the next two, like
Right.
close games too. So
Very,
that's
very
kind of
much like that. And then that game, yeah, like I think Dio hit 2 home runs, went Oppo a couple of times.
well, actually,
And,
that was 21, but I guess
was
oh, that's
21.
right. That's right. You said
23.
You said 23.
Well,
21's one I was referring to.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
both of those series were similar then because
Yeah.
23 we clobbered them on
That's
Friday
right.
and then
I was
lost
up
the
there,
last
and
two.
then we lost Hess that day too. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, and Barry Allen was upset because he didn't get the
oh yeah,
all important pitchers win.
because he only went
pitching.
4 innings.
We took him out in 4 and 2/3.
Yeah. The Columbia game, I'm speaking of, and Griff, I corrected or found it. It was actually was a 15-3 loss that in that game, and Columbia got 11 in the fourth, so they got 12 over 2 innings, but they never got quite that high. But yeah, just a bizarre night. And Hunter, tell us. You mentioned because you showed up kind of in the middle of it or after it happened. Tell them how quickly it turned for you.
Well, I had a buddy in town from Huntsville and wanted to meet up with him for a drink, and we had planned on doing that, and then the games get pushed up. So I leave Lusa Brews, which is in downtown Tuscaloosa, and we're up 3-1. I walk into the home plate club and I look up at the TV and I see that we're down 9-3, and I'm just like, what the hell just happened? And I knew that our Twitter account hadn't tweeted in like 20 minutes, so I knew something was up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fifth inning. This all goes down. So the 5th, 6th, 7th, they score 8, 3, and 7. Good news, bad news. In a 3-game compressed weekend series, if you're going to get your ass kicked, go ahead and get it kicked the first night. Burn some of your guys and need a little work, kind of low leverage, and shorten the game 2 innings, and then get into the weekend with with your bullpen in a little better shape, right? I mean,
we've done a good job of doing saving innings. What's this, the fourth one real Friday or first game?
Yeah, it's that old adage: would you rather lose, a heartbreaker at the buzzer, or get blown out? I think in this case, I just didn't get blown out once it starts going downhill. And
I know we're gonna talk about their pitching rotation, but do we almost kind of feel like I think Faye's good, but he's not. I don't think he's one of our top 3. I'm sorry, I don't think he's one of our top 2. I think that it's Riley and Zane being the top 2. Are we kind of sacrificial lambing him on Friday so that we have our number 1 going against their number 2, our number 2 going against their number 3?
Kind of better matchups for us.
I got a good chat with that with Mr. Fay before the last game, and he said Tyler loves that just because it's they were talking about the Vanderbilt game, and it was like, what if Riley had been going up against that and we just couldn't touch that guy?
Right.
And I said, well, instead it's your son who's kind of taking the brunt of that, and so he said, Tyler loves it, he's just got to get past that 5th inning, and then one thing real quick about the Arkansas 21 series, that Friday game, and I watched that on my phone with Griffin and with Mark Jennings in the Link Hotel in Vegas.
Yeah,
we were wearing masks because it was right after COVID. So
me and Cecil Hurt were watching it on my phone in Indianapolis, getting ready for Alabama to start the NCAA tournament.
Wow, that's yeah.
Anyways, I was with you, Drew, that weekend, and then I got back to Chicago on Monday, and Hunter texted me saying, "Hey, I've got a ticket to the game tonight, I think." And it was a 3-hour drive, and that was a fun 52 hours or whatever. So
so again, Friday night, not much to say about this game. I mean, Georgia pounds out 15 hits. they scored 19 runs. I mean, what the hell? We walked. How many of them we walked? We walked 7 of them.
And I think all 7 of them probably scored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think I tweeted
6 home runs. They're going to score.
the 6 home runs. Right. I think as we got into that 5th inning and into the 6th, I think we walked 6 guys, or maybe we walked 7 in those innings. At least 6 of them scored. So we've talked about it. Bullpen walks can be a big problem. We're throwing a bullpen guy. He's a starter now. But and it's just kind of that point of when do you know he's spent? He's getting his pitch count up. Tyler looks strong. I mean, he looks like he's still got plenty in him. He just hit a wall where he just couldn't find the strike zone. And with Georgia, they're going to be patient enough to draw the walls, but then eventually you're going to have to adjust, and you see what they can do when you start elevating.
But going to every one of those walks scored.
Yeah.
But okay, walk the first guy. We're playing in. The next guy hits that Baltimore chopper.
Yeah.
Perfect double play ball. If you're playing behind the bag, maybe that none of that happens. I mean, it just.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they still hit a whole bunch of home runs later on, but it would have changed everything. Tyler would have gone a little further. It would have changed who was brought in.
Yeah.
I mean, it changed the whole complexion of the game in my eyes.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
Megan, your feel on Faye, you feel really good if he gets you 5 innings. I mean, I kind of feel that way, especially as tight as our bullpen is at this point. At 5 is about what you want out of him, you think?
I think so. I think 5's a solid number. I think from, a whole standpoint, like I think Tyler has more he could do. I think we saw that maybe over the summer when he was up playing in the Cape too, that he was able to go for those longer innings.
Yeah.
Especially with the shape of our bullpen, the more we can get out of him that's good, the better off it is. It's just we also got to make sure that run support's there too.
Exactly. Wasn't a very good feeling going into the rest of that weekend. I mean, obviously after that game went sideways, when you saw what happened to Heiberger, when you saw what happened to Morris in in his second inning, by the time Alcock had come in, it was pretty much it was bad. It was bad news anyway. But Heiberger and Morris, 2 of your more your higher leverage arm guys. I mean, and they get knocked around Griff. I mean, you couldn't have felt too great about. Oh my God, where are we going to be in game 2 and 3? Bullpen wise, you hadn't had Myers and Oz yet, obviously, but still.
Yeah, not spending everyone out of the bullpen, but yeah, definitely feeling, they've hit everything that we put out there so far, and obviously leaving that, it's like, okay, we got blown out, it's over, but I hope this obviously doesn't continue into the weekend because if we got this sideways in the course of 3 innings, then it could get just way worse on the weekend. But credit to the bullpen and the starters. We limited the walks the rest of the weekend, and that, to Roger's point, that'll always help. Don't put guys on base to give them a free pass, and another, fewer person that's going to come potentially across the plate. So,
and it was also helpful that I felt like with Heiberger, he got knocked around pretty darn quick. It wasn't a lengthy thing, so you were able to bring him back on Sunday, and then you just kind of tell Alcott to just wear it for a little while.
Right.
It's going to happen.
I mean, at least he ended up with. He gave up 7 runs, but only 3 were earned because the error at second base. But that helped. But one thing in thinking about Tyler Fabian Friday, it's like he gets you to 5 or 6, and you're in the game with a chance to win, and you do go with Myers and Osmer, you feel better about coming back with them on Sunday.
Yes.
Or on the game 3, although
Thursday, Saturday. Yeah.
Although we, showed we would use Oz twice in a day on yesterday.
Right.
But, I mean, and that might be part of the thinking there because you go Riley or Zane. I don't know. It's a enigma to figure out which way, what's the best way to do it.
So, yeah. And it feels like we're doing it out of necessity, but, we'll get to reset between this weekend. I don't expect us to do anything different this weekend. I expect we're going to the SEC tournament. Hopefully be in a single bye position. I don't think we can get to double bye, but if we're in a single bye position, you're going on Wednesday. So, Tyler could conceivably go. He went Thursday, he could go Wednesday.
Right.
Riley, I don't think they'd chance Riley going Friday to Wednesday.
No, no.
You know,
They've
but
been so careful with him
right,
already. And
right,
you know, a lot of people were like, why isn't Riley going Friday? Well, we had so many Thursday.
exactly. It's been hard to.
We had so many Thursday series, and then he had the hurt week, and then
Mhm.
he had to work his way back, and then so it just was real hard to reset the
Mhm.
rotation. So and we see what Zane's done once he's moved to Sunday.
Yeah, once he's been back. Yeah.
Or,
All right.
or
So look ahead 3 weeks. So magic crystal ball 3 weeks ahead. When we're hosting this regional in Tuscaloosa, help me who go, and again, let's say if you're hosting, you're the 1 seed, you're going to play a 4. Usually that's a pretty favorable matchup for you. Although if we're the 13 or the 12 or the 14, Meghan just said you said we'd be the 8th right now. If well, we do 8th in the SEC, but
SEC tournament,
I think even in any of these projections of us hosting, we're probably 12th to 16. I mean, let's face it. Maybe you win 2 games this weekend, you're there. Then do you try to get? I mean, how do you go there? You go Riley, you go Zane. What do you think?
Or do you go Faye short leash?
Yeah, maybe so.
You're going to play a 4 seed, and I say this, and I know that in 2002 we lost as we were like the number 4 overall seed and lost our first round game to a 4 seed. So
yeah. What do you guys thoughts? You go. I mean, if you're a 1 playing a 4. You go Faye, or is that when you flip them?
Probably depends on what the other team
Right,
has, because it was 2 years ago when they had mayors, and so we went Holman because, well, I mean, you kind of you don't really want to risk, because McMillan was not really getting past 4 and 5, and so
Right.
I think you should be able to beat the 4 seed with Faye. I would rather do that and have Riley pitching against the second or the other good, presumably the other good team in the regional. So yeah, I mean, I that's what I
In the
hope
Saturday
happens, but I
night game. Yeah,
guess it depends on what kind of pitcher the other team has.
exactly. Okay.
just keep winning too. Don't
Yeah,
get
exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we'll talk more about regionals there. I just thought it was a good place to put it, because again, I don't think anything's gonna be different this weekend, because you just don't have the time to do it. Game 2, weird game. Obviously, you just got your ass dragged across your field pretty bad. You got 30 minutes to flush and get right back out there. And it didn't start off very well, Drew.
No, just they tattooed a single up the middle on the first or second pitch of the game. Our buddy McCarthy, who kept walking around they had a weird bunch in that dugout, and I don't know if we should ignore that or talk more about it, but it was something.
Yeah.
I can't quite, I think feel like they hit Riley, got some swings around him pretty good, but
They did. Yeah. In
yeah,
that first
got
inning.
out of it. Yeah, 2 runs. Thought it'd be a lot worse, but yeah, got out of it only down 2-0, and then the next thing you know, Fowler reaches, and then LeBron hits that off the top of the scoreboard. I feel like
just a moonshot
Yeah.
off the S and Sewell Thomas on the top of the scoreboard, and good to see that, because he's been fighting it a little bit in SEC play, obviously, and you're good to see him come back around. Had a couple of kind of just baffling at bats, where but taking a lot of fastballs, call it looking, but had a 3-hit game yesterday that was key to pulling that out. So I think the answer. How important was that answer in the bottom of the first, Hunter, while we're down 2-0?
It was huge. And the way that you did it emphatically, like with that bomb, I mean, that ball would have bounced toward the Hugh Culverhouse School of Law had the scoreboard not been there.
Junior.
And stopped
Junior.
it.
Yeah.
And then, so you chase their starter in the first inning, make them have to go to their bullpen early, use one of their high leverage guys, which sets you up well for that game and for Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. And so we answer with a 4-run inning. Big hit by Torres. In the game recap, I tweeted it out. But what was crucial about that is they're 2 outs. It's an 0-2 pitch to him. He's got high swing and miss rate, as we've probably beaten into the ground before. But he managed to take a ball kind of outer half and just power it into left field and do what he needed to do to get on.
He was he's a strong guy.
Strong dude. Yeah.
When he makes contact, it's a good thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was a weird inning. The first 4 get on, then we get the little pop up to the catcher by Will, and then Staten at least got the sacrifice fly. So we got the
Yes.
third run. We're
The
good.
third in.
And then Bull worked, Mizell works the walk, and then Torres, and then Brady walked as well. Oh, and then Bryce batted for the second time and then popped
Again,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just,
or
yeah,
hit into
you know,
hit a ground ball.
Ill fielder's choice. Yeah. Got Neil, clipped him at second. So, you know, that it felt like, again, you talk about how important was that, man, it just kind of reset the weekend, because you could not have felt good about giving up 2 after giving up, 19 right before that. And you know, let's talk about our pitching staff and what they were able to do the rest of the way. Georgia gets those 2 in the first. They scratch 1 across in the 7th. But the rest of it, I mean, they're 7 goose eggs the rest of the game. Big tip of the cap to Riley Quick. Big tip of the cap to Braylon Myers, who's just been money coming into these games. And then Osmer closes it out with a 2-inning save. And again, and this, I'm talking about this like it all happened at one time. This is spread over about a 40 something hour period, obviously, something period, because we get into the 5th. There are 2 outs, no, 1 out in the 5th.
1 out.
They've got a guy on third. We've got a 6-2 lead at that point, because Bryce has just hit the home run into right field that was towering and just landed on the right side of the fair pole.
Might be the shortest home run I've seen hit at the Joe. I think it went 327 feet, and that fence is 320.
Yeah, exactly. And help me out on the rules, guys, because everybody's like wondering, okay, is it like Major League Baseball? Is it an official game? If they'd have gotten the 2 outs before the rains came, is that an official game? Would that game not have been resumed?
If we never played the rest of the weekend?
Right.
If
Okay.
it would have been official, but it would not have been official if we not gotten those 2 outs. We would have been screwed in that situation. But
Yeah.
once we started back, we did have to finish out the 9, or we
Right.
finish out the 5.
Yes.
And then the rain could have come, like we said, once we got those outs. Hey, start raining. Let's go.
It's the last day. Yeah.
Right.
It's the last day.
Yeah.
So it's a little different than like in the major leagues. You see, you're
May
seeing
come back in September and finish it or something. Yeah,
right. They'll finish it up. So good to know on that. And of course, with all the rain, and again, let's go back. Myers comes quick. First of all, pitch count got run up a little bit. Got up to 87. Struck out 7. Myers comes in. Myers comes in to restart, I guess, the game on Sunday. I don't remember him ever starting. He ever start a midweek game, even as an opener? Do you remember during his
No,
years?
I don't remember in 4 years.
Pure relief.
Mm-mm.
Right.
So a little bit weird, weird little setup for him. I mean, how do you think that, Megan? You think about that? Is that's a little different feel for him, but kind of a weird situation.
Definitely a weird situation, like all kinds of weird situation. But I mean, I think if anyone kind of fits a weird situation and coming in for Alabama baseball, Braylon's probably the best one that we can hand it
Right.
to.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like he's really phased by a lot. And so, he comes in, he does what he's supposed to, and I mean, probably one of the better outings that we've seen from
Exactly.
Braylon in a series of like really good ones that we've seen across this year.
Yeah. 49 pitch outing for him. He gets us, through the 7th. I mean, he gets us all the way through the 7th. They do scratch 1 earned run across him in the 7th. And then you turn over to Osmer. My concern here, Griff, was that, all right, you got to burn Osmer here. I mean, that's going to be it for the day. Myers is done. Osmer's done. How's this third game going to look? Mind you, it's only 7 innings, but how's this game going to look?
Yeah, I mean, the response, obviously coming off of his last outing, was top of mind for me is,
Right.
What are we going to see? And thankfully he was able to, shake it and, show why he is, the sweeper of the year, in my opinion, if we were voting on it.
Right.
It's exactly what you could have hoped for. And, thinking of, I guess, some of these guys probably been quite a long time since they've played a morning game, but I guess you can rely on travel ball and, they're playing funky times as kids. Maybe they're just saying, let's just go out there and get it over with so we can just move on to the next game. We're going to have to need to get 2 in today at some point. Let's just, try to improve on what we had, day and a half ago. So,
Yeah. Tough at bat by Brady Neal leading off the eighth. Drew drawing that walk, gets to second. He remember they eventually they walked Snell, and Neal's at third after an infield grounder. So they walked Snell intentionally to get to Richie. But talk about the day Brady Neal had in conjunction with that, and then the couple plays he made in that third game.
Yeah. I thought you were going to ask me about Richie's home run off that
Oh, that too.
95
Yeah,
mile an
yeah.
hour
We'll touch on that.
fastball.
Hit that one.
But
Yeah.
I look back at that today to see Hart. That was they bring in the reliever because I didn't even remember this was the second game. But yeah, they walked Snell intentionally to get to Richie. You bring in a new guy, and then Richie hits his second pitch, 95 miles an hour up, no doubt, or against the wind. So
Yeah.
that was impressive, and that was what I was getting ready to say. But about Neal, I mean, he's a guy that I think we thought he'd be a big 300 hitter. I mean, he's gotten better over the last few weeks of the plate, but kind of the low two teens or whatever. But he was so good behind the plate. Through that, I thought gosh, I know our buddy Henry Hunter got picked off twice, and
He got hosed at third. Yeah.
I think that was the second game when Brady went through behind him and JT tagged him, and I think the first game is when we picked him off first to second.
First game, Braylon picked him off.
Yeah, that's right. That was.
Hodo nailed him at second.
Yeah, just such a huge play.
Beautiful throw.
A beautiful throw.
I mean, our guy Henry Hunter's wearing not even buttoning his jersey, and we're just giving him hell all game. And he about got the last word with that ball.
Yeah.
But you could tell he hurt us because after that walk before that, he kind of gave us like the that I mean, he kind of gave us like that cocky, like but yeah, Brady's just been so good behind the plate as far as controlling the game. I hope
he's
we get
working
him
a ton of walks too.
and he's logged a lot of innings. I really hope we get him back next year, and I think he'll have a big year for us as a senior. But who knows what'll happen? But this year, I think I look forward to him finishing strong.
Yeah,
like Hunter hollered at Henry Hunter there one time. He didn't think Casey Dunn would have let him wear that shirt like that at Birmingham U when he was playing there.
Yeah, Hunter transferred from UAB. Yeah,
I hope he heard that.
He talked a lot of shit for somebody that came from a program like that.
Yeah, Hunter Johnson, biggest. We've seen some big home runs of the Joe. I mean, some very memorable ones. The pink over the scoreboard and against Vandy. The day of the whole Bohannon deal. Hodo hitting the real big. Maybe it was Tennessee weekend. I mean, there've been a lot of them. Rank that Bonamola one because it really, that game still did not feel very comfortable to me after seeing what happened to Oz last weekend.
Yeah, and knowing that, especially coming off of last Sunday, I felt like that was very, very needed. And then you get in the next game and it would have been great to have another one of those because the rest of that game it was 7 innings of torture.
It's agony, just agony. Yeah, I think I mentioned to you or somebody was like this. This felt like every game of the Grant era or the Avery Johnson era. Yeah. no lead you ever had felt like it was going to hold. But Richie just tanks this ball out. I mean, gives us a 6-run lead, and at that point, it feels a little bit insurmountable, and we close it down. All right, so now we go to game 3. We get another half hour. Or this, we're still. It probably ain't even noon yet. We're going to game 3, and remind them what happens here. Right? It's a 7-inning game because this is just SEC rule.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still kind of strange that we started at the time that we were going to start game 3 anyway.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm thank God it was in retrospect. Arm wise, but for Alabama. But,
right. So the issue is you're resuming a game, and so any game you resume automatically flips the game that follows it into a 7-inning game if it's on Sunday. Am I correct?
Yeah, on getaway day. So
on getaway. Okay.
Basically, they called it a doubleheader day, and So, but they went with the 9 innings to finish the first game.
Exactly.
The second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And fittingly, I mean, what you've got to do in this situation is, in our situation, you jump out quickly, and we did just that, Megan. Right?
Yeah. Um, I think it was what we needed to do, honestly, and what we've been kind of waiting on for a few weekends is really just like get out there, make a statement, and then, hold tough. But all in all, I think finally kind of looking more like the team we've been asking to see for the last few
Right.
weeks.
Right. So after Adams strikes out 2 in the first, we get a 1-2-3 inning. Bryce gets hit by a pitch. LeBron singles. Fowler to third. Snell hit a kind of a weird liner over there. They have the shift on, but it was a little bit skewed, and so it was kind of right at their third baseman. And then Richie walks again. Hodo with the single. I think it was a bases loaded single over there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a weird Wes Johnson, kind of dumb, I thought, in the first inning to blow one of your challenges when your catcher just says, "Oh, it's a foul ball," and the ball's like 3 feet fair, I think. But good diving effort. In fact, I thought pretty underrated play by that left fielder.
Right.
Diving, didn't catch it, but got up, and nobody could advance except for one base. Right. I mean, it was
Yeah. And, I
impressive.
saw a lot of chatter about why did LeBron not score? Why did he,
Right.
he would have been hosed, but he did have to hold up. The guy did almost catch the ball.
Mhm.
On his
Exactly.
dive, he didn't miss it but
Well,
just
you
a
don't
few
know.
inches.
Yeah, you don't know when he
You
dives.
don't know.
Yeah,
And
until he rolls over or something. Yeah.
so yeah, it was unfortunate to only get one run out of that because
Right.
then the next 2 guys strike out when
Mhm.
we just need a something in the outfield from Satan to score.
Mhm.
To
Yeah.
score Justin, and then but he and Bull strike out back to back, and that ended that.
Right.
That little threat.
2 big homers the next inning. Torres would just powers one Oppo, but it kind of felt like it was in on him a little bit, but it just so strong.
Yeah.
And parks it about midway through the bullpen, the Georgia bullpen. You saw those guys kind of watch it go over their heads. And then Snell hit one. I don't know what that thing was off the bat. 107, 108. What were the numbers on the? You remember?
I think it was 108.
It was it was a lot like the one he hit in the game we got wrecked. Just an absolute piss missile. Just out there into the plaza. So we're at 4-0 after 2, and I think feeling a lot better, especially with how Zane looked. Zane was really Zane got through those first 2 innings, aside from an error, really didn't go a base runner. And it's just mowing these guys down, for starters. And then, predictably, 106. All right, thank you. 106 miles an hour on the Snell homer, 348 into the pen. And then then it just felt like, man, can we end this thing somehow? Hunter, I don't know how you talked about it, man. It was just agonizing because it felt like we weren't going to score again.
Right. You didn't feel like we were going to score. You felt like they were probably going to. You knew that they needed Zane to go for as long as we could. And then, you still got Banks and you can bring Heiberger back. But you're still thinking you're probably not going to be able to use Osmer in this game.
Right. You thought he's done. Right. Yeah. And you wondered about Heiberger because, what Heiberger was going to be like after the,
Right.
what he took the other night. So we're just, again, kind of holding on for dear life. It's a 4-0 game. They scratched 2 across in the third on the strength of a homer. And then we do manage to manufacture one in the fourth, right? I don't even remember how we got it now.
Brady walked.
Yeah, and then ran.
And then Brian's double that I thought was gone.
Yeah.
Right.
He clearly
thought
it was gone.
Yeah. The third inning was when Henry Hunter got picked off third by Zane or by Brady.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they lead off with the homer, get their 2 runs. If that doesn't happen, we may very well lose that game. So I thought, and that was when Staten couldn't quite catch that blooper in the right.
Hit him on
You want him to catch that, but thankfully Brady picked our buddy off third, and I think if that doesn't happen, we probably don't win that game.
And I remember telling Paul when it happened, I said, I feel like that. I said that feels really important right there.
Yeah, exactly. And he just hosed him. It's a pretty bold
you had seen the guy. He was coming down the line a couple of pitches before, and that had to have been a called play. Because Torres was right there, waiting on it, and the guy was out
He
Couldn't
didn't
even slide.
dive. He didn't dive or slide
He
back.
couldn't even slide.
Like Rocco said, the wind caught him with his shirt open and it slowed him down. It made him start flapping.
Yeah. Credit to Georgia. I mean, it's a good hitting team, obviously. They did what I recall Oklahoma doing, considerably to Zane. If I hadn't counted it up, feels like they fouled off a lot of pitches, Griff. I didn't. You remember the Oklahoma game? They fouled out 25, 30 pitches and kind of ran his count up a little bit. Georgia kind of did that to him as well. So, I mean, we only got 4 innings out of Zane because he got him 95 pitches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just felt like every batter was at least getting 7 or 8 on him.
Mm.
And they were doing, considerable work to make him work harder. So,
Yeah.
I thought outside of the third, I thought he looked good. So I think he's more comfortable than I think where he was in that Friday role, so to speak,
In
a
that
while
slot.
ago. But
Yeah.
but
Right.
I think that was, if there's only one big downside of the weekend for the bullpen, it was obviously the homers. I mean, that was not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's at home, obviously, which is not great. Period. Georgia, I think they hit it just as well at home, or probably better at home than they do on the road. Obviously, they've, I think, 1-8, 1-9 from the last time I saw against SEC teams on the road. So that's, not ideal, but hopefully that doesn't translate to anything, further
Right.
in the weekend
Yep.
coming up. So
Adams piles up 8 strikeouts. He only walks 2 guys. We walked 3 guys in game 3. We walked 2 guys in game 2. So man, that's a great turnaround for our pitching staff after the fiasco on Friday night. Just not giving out freebies to a team, and really important with a team like this, Meghan, that hits a lot of homers, that you don't give out freebies and put guys on in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, you give them free passes, they hit a bomb, it goes to a game that we're sitting a lot more uncomfortable in, a lot quicker.
Yeah. We saw a great inning from Hagen Banks in the 5th. Then we saw what we tend to see sometimes. I mean, they kind of get the feel for him. The fastball is not overpowering. It sneaks up on you. He tends to throw it high. If you elevate fastballs that guys chase that they can't really get around on, or they can't do anything with, great. If you elevate them, but you get them where they can get the barrel out, and you're only throwing 89, 90, you're going to have what happened. And I felt like that's what happened. Challenge here, you just didn't have bullpen arms. You got a great inning from Banks. Drew, you just didn't really have the feel like, all right, I can go someone else now for this inning.
Well, I mean, yeah, he got him out on 8 pitches.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, well, you just kind of run him out there again. But that's kind of a situation where you put someone else out there and they give up a run or 2, and then you're like, why didn't you leave him in? He only gave him up 8 pitches. But but I think it's like last week against Vanderbilt, but except that he got the first 2 guys out pretty quickly that next inning.
Yeah.
So I think with Banks, he's got to throw strikes, and then the walks is just
the walk hurt him. He
Yeah.
walked the guy, ended up being a 2-run homer.
Yeah. So then, Heiberger was impressive because, they had some hard hit balls off of him, but it was better than it was 2 nights before that. And Heiberger did what he could do. And then we brought in Osmer just to close it out.
Yep. And talk about Osmer coming back twice in the same day. Only had to go 9 pitches this time. I think he went, what did he throw in the first? Was it
30, 35.
35. So, I mean, a pretty hefty first outing, Roger. But to come back and throw 9, I mean, he only had to get 2 outs, but he did it. And
we had a little chatter down there between games, like, hey, between innings, after Richie's home run in that first game when it was 9-3, it's like, you throw somebody else out there and let them hold a 6-run lead.
Yeah.
Or, they walk the first 2, then a couple of wild pitches, then a home run, and then it's like you're holding on for dear life, and you don't have he or Myers to send out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the right move.
I also think it was helpful that it was him if he had a whole day off, I think he probably would have been feeling worse, after throwing 35 pitches. But with him, it being the same day and being a few hours later,
right?
I think that was really helpful.
Yeah, probably could keep a little bit warm, they just or at least limber. But anyway, he shuts down he ends it on a strikeout. Got Colby Branch. Colby Branch is a tough hitter, man. That
with
dude,
a K.
yeah, Colby with a
Mhm.
K. But man, that dude, he can swing it. He's tough. He hit the grand slam to walk off against us
He sure
last year
did.
at a home run on Friday. Osmer's 16th save, the program record now extended out to 16. Um, best reliever, best relief pitching season in our history, or in our 30, 40 years that we probably go back in our memory bank.
It's been strong. I mean, statistically, it is, the
Mhm.
ERA is a little bit higher than
Yeah,
Chase's, but
you're right. Chase was sub
he's had,
two. Yep.
yeah, it's sub two. I mean, Oz has had a lot more chances to save games, and
Yeah.
he's taken advantage of them,
Mhm.
and then thrown 4 wins in as well.
I mean, I think we quickly forget the Viper.
Yeah.
He was pretty
Well,
damn
no, I
good.
mean, we're not forgetting Chase, but that would, he would be there. Thomas Burrows had some fantastic years.
David Robertson, 06.
David,
I mean, what Peanut did, obviously.
Peanut just in every situation, start, relief,
Right.
mid-relief, closer, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Cormier, same thing.
Lance,
Yeah.
Jared
yeah.
Kingery.
The former big leaguer,
Lance, did he
right?
play big league ball?
Somebody said he did. But yeah, I mean, because what is it? He would close on Friday or Saturday and start on Sunday, and I mean, like pretty much all year.
Yeah.
Skip Ames, Ben
Mhm.
Short. I mean, when Hunter was counting back to that, I was like, all right. I know we had a good reliever before
Mhm.
Kingery, but yeah, it's quite the season. I don't know that we've had a first team All SEC pitcher in a while,
Mhm.
and I think Oz has got a real good chance to be that
I
guy
think
this
so.
year.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Trying to think of one.
No, I was just trying to think about that.
Yeah. All right. So we get 2 out of 3. We're all right. Here's the significance of it. We're at 15 wins. We'll talk about host prospects and whatever. That tops last year. But obviously, the first game topped last year. We had won 13 the year before that. We're right on the heels of the 23 team that won 16 in conference. Obviously got the back of our mind hosting, and that's a 16 game, maybe 17 game proposition that we'll talk about. So next weekend, not weekend, hell, 3 days from now. 3 days from now, I think the first game will be about over. We go to Florida, who started this conference season 1-11, right? Did it get to 1-12? I don't remember. All right, so let's talk about this. Since they got swept at home by Vanderbilt the first weekend in April, they swept Missouri, which most of us do. They did beat Florida State in the midweek. They beat Stetson in the midweek. They took 2 out of 3 at Mississippi State. They beat Georgia Southern. They took 2 out of 3 with Arkansas at home, and obviously Arkansas is, at times has played maybe the best team in the country, the best complete team in the country. Big sweep over South Carolina and Columbia 2 weekends ago. Took one on the chin against South Florida during a midweek game, but we'll talk about their injuries and what impact that might have had. And then this past weekend, excuse me, they go to Texas. And beat the number 1 team in the country by in 2 out of 3, including a 4-1 win on Sunday. So add that up, whatever it is. I don't know how to. I mean, they're 13-14 when they started 1-11.
Yeah, I think it's 11 of the last 13 they've won.
Yeah.
Or
So I mean,
something like that is what I saw.
On an absolute heater in the conference. And mind you that 6 of those were South Carolina and Missouri, and 2 of them were Mississippi State, but they did do what they did to Arkansas, and they did do what they did to Texas. And you got to go there this weekend. And this is a team now at 13-14. Hell, if they sweep us, they're probably sitting pretty to be a host, right, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, if we, I think they'd be 16. Yeah, I mean their RPI is a little lower than ours, so I mean if they win that, they're going to be a top 12, probably top 10 team. So usually, if you're 16 wins and you have that top 10 RPI, you're pretty much a lock for a host. So
Right.
that's get it. That's what I want us to get one. But I don't know you're getting to that point.
Yeah, yeah. The thing they're dealing with is right now they played this weekend with 10 position players. I mean, they're decimated by injuries. Our good friend Colby Shelton, who's now 2 years into his career at Florida, is dealing with an injury. Probably hadn't played the last 2 or 3 weekends. Probably not this weekend. They do expect him back in the postseason. So this will be 2 weekends in a row. A high profile transfer in the conference has not played against us, and we'll talk about that if you want to. A lot of pitching injuries. They've kind of pitch through things. Throwing a freshman on Sunday, and he just shoved against Texas on Sunday. I mean, just I think he went 7 innings. They won that game 4-1. 13-14 record again. What do you think, guys? Is this a are we got enough to beat these guys with the way they're pitching?
I think we got at least one in us.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's kind of weird because I was listening to Mark Etheridge and Joe Healy, and they were like, "Yeah, Florida's doing this with like one solid starting pitcher and one solid relief pitcher and 10 healthy
Mhm.
position guys," and they're just. I think they've been benefited by getting South Carolina and Missouri on
Right.
in that stretch, but Arkansas at home. I mean, beating Arkansas 2 out of 3 is
Yeah. Anywhere.
tough wherever, but got them at home. But the Texas series was pretty impressive for them,
Pretty
especially on the mound. So they're on a heater. They're playing for a regional host. I don't know if 15-15 will get it for them. So
I also look at their. I mean, I know
Mhm.
that they're playing awfully well right now. I also just look at their resume as a whole. You know that even if I don't see it happening, but even if they were to sweep us, they would still have a losing quad 1 record, which
Oh,
I
right.
know is now
Yeah. Interesting.
one of the metrics that people are looking at. So I don't know how they would stack up compared to everybody else when you're 12-15 in quad 1 games.
Mhm.
I mean, again, I like to think that we would have played better. We could have won the series at Vanderbilt. I thought we would have taken 2 or 3 there. I think that the
Mhm.
hitting will still travel. I mean, I don't want to get to predictions yet, but
Yeah.
I think we do our business on the road. I think we take 2 or 3.
Yeah. Aiden King is the pitcher that went on Sunday for them. Goes 7 innings. He's a 5-2 record now. Again, just pure true freshman out there. I think going out there. Liam Peterson, kind of a familiar name that we've known before. Went on Saturday for them. I'm doing this on the fly. You can tell I did a lot of research here, but that's the game they lost. And then the Friday night game that they won 8-2. They go with Pierce Coppola, who's only got a 3-0 record. He only went 2 innings, so I think that must have been like an opener type situation because he pitched well. He pitched
he's a guy
43
who's
pitches.
been hurt a lot the last 2,
Okay,
even 3 years, and so
yeah,
he's one of those that you think he's got a great arm, but just injuries, and so yeah, I think the second guy, I think his name's Butler, maybe, or Binion or
Mhm.
something like that, and he pitched well, but he's got like a 5 ERA, so
Yeah,
they're
right.
gettable for at least one down there, I believe.
Exactly. And one is very critical for us as we'll talk about here. We talked a little bit in the green room before, Hunter and Roger, about how this past weekend probably played into our hands a little better in that we got wrecked in game 1 and got shorted 2 innings. With the rain, we got shorted 2 innings on Sunday. So that was 4 bullpen innings we didn't have to conjure up that we probably didn't have, right?
Yes, I mean, on Friday we would have. I mean, we
Yeah,
would have.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
basically, it was the 2 innings on Sunday, which turned out to be a blessing, really.
Really
Because,
big.
I
Really
mean,
big.
because we sent our 3 dudes out there,
Mhm.
Braylon, Heiberg, and Oz, and there wasn't going. There's
What
not a whole lot behind that, in at that point.
relief wise? Yeah.
Yeah.
JT Blackwood Hunter was up in the pen. I mean, again, he had been a spot starter, a midweek type guy, but and thrown some on the weekends, but not ideally, reliever you bring in the 8th inning of a game like
Right.
that. Yep.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, so again, could we have pieced together 2 more innings on Sunday? I think it'd been very difficult and have a
I'm glad we
5-4
didn't
game.
have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we would
And,
end up
and honestly, wouldn't hate it if for some reason we ended up having to play 2 7-inning games in Gainesville this weekend.
Can we get this in the regionals at some point?
Mm.
But no. All right, so let's talk about this then. So we go into the weekend 15-12. Big position. It'd be great if we had a home series coming up, but you still got to go on the road. You still got to take care of your business. Let's talk host prospects. Somebody, I'm going to argue right now, if the game was based on your 27 game conference schedule, your RPI, your strength of schedule, your quad 1 wins, your quad 2 wins, your quad 1 and quad 2 combined, I got a lot of, on that. I feel really good about it. Somebody tell me why we would potentially not be. Give me the best argument against Alabama right now.
I think when it comes to hosts and the number of SEC teams and the number of SEC teams ahead of us, if we cannot get to 17, it is going to be against us this year.
Okay.
I think there's just no way that they're going to be willing when we are already expanding the conference. We know Texas is going to be in. We know, I think out of the 8, there's 6 teams ahead of us right now in that RPI that I don't think it's helping us a lot when it comes to hosts if we don't get to 17. I think if we get to 17, whole different story.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good argument there. Griff, you got an argument against?
I'm thinking the same kind of logic, spread the wealth. I think that they could probably point to some of the conference series and, you didn't take care of business against a state team that is not very good. So I think it would be trying to argue against it. I think it would get nitpicky. I think they'd be looking at kind of the little stuff, but they definitely wouldn't be able to say, well, they didn't take care of non-conference. 24-1, what more do you want out of us to do there? I think it would be that, spread the love. It's, you could look at the new Big Ten, again, get teams, other just, nationwide that you want to host. I mean, they can't all be here, but there's a pretty damn good reason why the ACC and the SEC are the 2 best conferences by a country mile. So,
okay, go ahead, Drew. You hit something.
I think I think if we're 16-14 and we're in the top 8 of the SEC, we'll be one of them. It would be beneficial if Auburn beat Ole Miss 2 out of 3 at least, and Arkansas swept Tennessee or won those series. But I think the biggest thing is, maybe if we only win 1 of 3 this weekend, we'll only have 4 series wins in the SEC. So
that's true.
Softball, it doesn't seem to matter. I mean, softball will win 2 conference games and somehow be a regional host. So my end prediction is if we have 16, we'll host. But if we don't host, that could be a reason why.
Mm-hmm. Roger, your thoughts on it? You feel pretty good about host position?
Yeah, I'd feel real good with 2 wins. I feel pretty good with 1. And I was just thinking, I wish that we would have had started the season with Texas A&M and Florida and had Tennessee now.
Yeah.
Instead of Tennessee second. I mean, if we had we were fortunate to get A&M when we did. Of course, I guess Missouri was too. So, but
we're probably fortunate to get Missouri when we did.
Right. And if it had been Florida coming in, the week instead of Tennessee and then playing Tennessee this week, I mean, they've lost 4 straight series.
Yeah. Which
and
is baffling.
Are we 4 and 5 in series right now? Is that correct?
Yes.
Swept 2 and won 2 games to 1.
Right.
But
hadn't been swept though.
Hadn't been swept.
Exactly.
And is it still? Did State sweep Ole Miss or did they just win 2?
2 or 3. 1, 2 out of 3.
So I think Alabama, Ole Miss, and Arkansas are the teams that haven't been swept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Who did I miss on the Hunter? Your thoughts on the host situation?
I feel like if you can just win 2 more games, I don't really care where it is, but if you can win 1 in Gainesville and then 1 in Hoover, you think about that pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You think the SEC tournament will get much emphasis this year?
I don't. It usually matters just for kind of your total win total, but I don't think it's like going to matter a ton. I think I know in basketball the tournament does not matter really at all. No. But let's also think that that's a lot of those tournament games are having the weekend where the committee is sitting down and meeting. Well, this game is going to happen on Wednesday, most likely. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit more time for them to put all that in their data.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if Arkansas would sweep Tennessee this week. It is.
Yeah, that's because
that
so
would
it feels like feels like we're head to head with Tennessee and Ole Miss. There's 6 SEC hosts right now. They're like locks: Georgia,
Mhm.
Auburn, Vandy, Texas, Arkansas. That's the top 5 in the RPI, and they're
LSU.
locks anyway. All right. LSU is the 6th. They're number 7 in the RPI. We're 8 in the RPI. I don't, when people throw around and they throw around the polls and whatever, RPI matters, right? I mean, RPI really, really matters. It's if
I was
you're
having a discussion with another group about does margin of victory matter? In basketball, does that do anything, Hunter? Like you get beat
Yeah,
100 to
it kind
50,
of does with the way but basketball uses net
right?
instead of
So,
RPI, and
so
the net
but-
does have like some components in it that margin of victory does
Right.
matter.
yeah, David is arguing like getting run ruled 4 times is gonna, whether it's supposed to or not,
Mhm.
it's gonna maybe, skew some people's mind.
I don't
Mhm.
really think it matters.
I mean, we got outscored 26 to 14 and or whatever it was, 9,
Mhm.
27.
yeah. And that fortunately they don't go by aggregate score. They go by the scores of each game.
Matters
So,
about as
I mean-
much as all important pitcher wins.
The
Right.
picture
I
was
mean,
right.
If you're gonna
Yeah.
lose 19 to 3. You don't have to
Right,
waste
right,
you don't have to
right.
waste some guys
Mhm.
and then come back and win. So
Right. So
Um,
here's kind of what I think we got going for us. Again, we're 8 in the RPI. We got 39 wins. All right. There's not many. How many 40-win teams? Georgia, Texas, Arkansas,
Coastal.
LSU, and Coastal. I think that's the only 5. Well, and West Virginia hit 40, but
North
They also got
North
swept by Kansas State, so
Yeah.
that hurt.
Northeastern or Northwest.
Yeah,
North
Western
somebody.
Kentucky. I mean, at this point, you're getting into teams that 40 or worse in the RPI. So not many 40-win teams, and we're 1 away. Auburn, by the way, is Auburn's got 36. I mean, Auburn's strength of schedule is really kind of powered them through, and I think that's it's really helped them.
Right.
So we're 8 in the RPI. We're 18 on strength of schedule, and the teams ahead of us in the RPI from the conference: Georgia 5, Auburn 1, Vanderbilt 2, Texas 13, Arkansas 19, LSU 25. So strength of schedule, you're right up there and comparable to those other 6 SEC clubs. When you look at and again, non-conference record, obviously we've talked about that significantly. Our non-conference RPI is 5. I don't know exactly what that means, but unfortunately, our non-conference strength of schedule is 163, and by comparison, Auburn's is 60. That's probably why their strength of schedule is higher, even though we're both playing the SEC. Here's what I think is a key, and when I scan the RPI, we are 12-9 in quad 1 games. So we got 12 quad 1 wins. We are 7-3 in quad 2 games. So we got 7 quad 2 wins. So we've got to combine 19 quad 1, quad 2 wins. The only teams with 20 or more are, remind me, I tweeted it and I can't remember, Vanderbilt with 15 quad 1, 5 quad 2, and I think the other was like North Carolina. 7.
And Texas is 15.
Texas is at
and
20.
And
Yeah,
Texas
20
got
and
to 20.
9.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
So Texas got to 20 as well. I think when I saw that, it was before the Vanderbilt Tennessee final. So you got 3 teams with 20. We're 19 quad 1 and quad 2 wins. And then I think if you go all the way down the RPI, you might find someone else like that. I don't think you will at that point. Florida State, 15 combined. UCLA, 17 combined. Coastal, 11 combined. Yuck. Florida only 15 combined, Clemson 18, Tennessee 17. So I feel like those are all very good feathers in our cap for a host position. Now you go swept this weekend, you blew it, but I still feel like if we win one, we got a pretty compelling argument. I don't want us to get into that, obviously, but with 6 hosts locked, I feel like 7 I think is where they'll cap out. Somebody convinced me that we can get 8 hosts.
If we were to sweep Florida and Tennessee were to sweep Arkansas,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
or maybe even 2-1 on both of them, because
maybe
Arkansas's there regardless. I
right.
know that. I think Tennessee's iffy if they get swept, but
Mhm.
Even if they win one, they might be in. They might have it, but
Yeah.
it'd probably be
Tennessee's
safest for us.
15 RPI, by the way.
Mhm.
I would love it if they didn't host. That would be
Yeah. Yeah.
so nice.
Right.
Yeah,
And I may have said it a
that'd be
minute
a hell of a
ago.
number 2 for somebody.
Yeah.
Just like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Right. I may have said it a minute ago. Tennessee only 10 quad 1 wins. We got 12. They got 7 quad 2 wins. We've got and I think the other thing, and I was in with in a exchange with Tyler at Johnny MySpace down there with us the other night. One of our games, I can't remember, one of those games is kind of teetering on the edge of quad 1, quad 2. So we
It's
make kind of
Oklahoma. Oklahoma is
yeah.
right now, I think 28 or maybe 30th. It's very
Right.
possible that they could end up being a top 30.
Right.
That way, that would put them in quad 1.
Okay. So yeah, it seemed like there was one other, and I can't remember who, but
Might be Texas A&M.
it could be, yeah, or something like that. So here's kind of where the conference stands. You got Texas 20-7, Arkansas 18-9, LSU 17-10. Then you got the 16-11 teams are Vandy, Georgia, Auburn. Then the 15-12s are Tennessee and Alabama. So that's your top 8. I mean, that's your single bye and double bye teams heading into the tournament coming up. So let's talk about the schedule and the impact. And I think Roger probably hit the key one. The big, I mean, the series this weekend, A&M at Georgia, pretty inconsequential at this point, right? Georgia's probably in good shape, and it's at Georgia. Alabama, Florida, obviously big for both.
Hold up real quick, Paul.
Yeah.
It would be helpful if A&M got 1 at Georgia, because we need them to stay in the top 60 of RPI for those games to be quad 1.
And 1. Okay, good. All right. Good. Very good point. That's why we brought you back. Alabama, Florida, I mean, we beat them to death. State at Missouri. Think about that from I guess you probably just want State to go, to win those. I mean, they're
I don't, but
if State wins those, that could also, if they were to sweep, it could also possibly make Mississippi State into a quad 1.
okay.
Yeah. Where do you think quad 1? Let's see. State's 32 in the RPI.
Missouri's 135.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to matter. They're not going to move up that much.
So it's not going to matter. Okay. No. All right. So we're not so much concerned about that. We're as much. Kentucky at Vandy. Kentucky with a big, sweep this weekend, and now at 13, I think, wins heading into the weekend.
Kentucky's at 33 with the RPI. So
okay.
A win, I mean, we didn't play them, but a win there could.
Right. Vandy, though, for us, I mean, at Vandy, for the better Vandy looks, probably the better for us, because we do have a win over them on the road, right? Right. So maybe there. LSU, South Carolina really doesn't matter, right? I mean, LSU sweeps them, that's fine. Auburn, Ole Miss. Let's talk about that one. All right. Is this the situation like the 2015 Auburn Ole Miss football game, where Alabama fans are going to be faced with the unfortunate consequence of potentially having to root for Auburn?
I think it's not a matter of rooting for Auburn. It's wanting Ole Miss to lose.
Yes.
So again, tell them why that helped. Why does that help us, Meghan?
If it's between us, Tennessee, and Ole Miss competing for that last potential host spot, Auburn goes in, takes care of business there, especially if they can end up sweeping. I don't think that'll happen, but if they could end up sweeping, Ole Miss is going to drop, which, in the grand scheme of things, as long as we go in and do what we're supposed to this weekend, should all in all benefit us, if it is that idea there's one spot left.
Yeah. Right. Ole Miss sitting at 17 RPI, so a good little cushion with them right now. Last two, Texas at Oklahoma, first SEC matchup of these two. Probably helps us if Oklahoma get 2 out of 3 there. I mean Oklahoma kind of got faded a little bit this past weekend with the way they played. So they're sitting 13 and 14. If they win 2 out of 3, they're likely still a game behind us, assuming we win one. Probably helps us there, right? So we're trying to tell you who to root for. We think probably Oklahoma there, and then finally Tennessee, Arkansas. Roger, what your thought on that was a minute ago? Was
Yeah, Arkansas sweep,
Yeah,
because
Arkansas
we're not
sweep.
catching Arkansas. I mean,
No.
they're a top 1, 2, 3 seed,
Exactly. Yeah.
not one of the top couple of seeds in the country.
Right.
Tennessee, I think we're battling Tennessee for a host.
Right. Right.
And if they lose their 5th straight series, I think that would be really nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nice for our situation. And
Right.
nobody would deserve it more than them too. So
Right. Megan gave this earlier. LSU's strength of schedule is 25. Florida's 4. Tennessee 26. Ole Miss 10. We're 18. So again, these are things that are all playing in a lot of numbers out there. It's kind of a magic box. All this stuff kind of goes into, but it's an intriguing weekend for sure. I mean, obviously our game to us is the we're going to be paying attention to it, but every single one of these seems to have some kind of implication for us. So, all right, big weekend. Let's get into viewer questions before we close this out. Tyler Wilcox at Johnny MySpace sat with us yesterday. Had a great time with him. Kind of got run out of our right field by all the feral children out there. It was a heavy day of the ferals out there. But all right, he says, say we finished the regular season 16-14 and on the bubble for one of the final host sites. What is the one hang your hat stat or piece of the resume that you'd each point to and say this is why we deserve the host site? We talked about that a little bit, but I mean, give me one.
I mean,
you got 5 seconds to argue in front of the committee. What do you tell them?
It's very possible that we're going to end up with double-digit wins in Quad 1 with a winning record in Quad 1.
Exactly. Great. Yeah. If you win one this weekend, you're probably 13 and you're 13 and 11 at a minimum, and you might be 14 or 15.
Could be 12 and 9. That's what I saw that it was predicted as. So
yeah. Right. John Young Sr. kind of. Hey, I asked this a minute ago. Did we catch Mizzou at the right time? Yeah. Big shout out to those guys though. I mean, that's a hell of a comeback for them to come up off the deck and I don't think we thought. Did anybody think they were going to win a game? I really didn't think it was going to happen with their.
I thought they would. I thought they'd fold up and quit. But more power to them. That was great.
Way more shocking even than when Greg Goff's team swept Auburn at Auburn.
Really?
Yeah.
That Auburn team was like a top 15 team. And we were dreadful.
Yeah.
And I do think that our guys had kind of quit on Goff. It was just because we were playing Auburn.
Yeah. More importantly on this, Griff, what does this do to the Texas A&M coaching situation? I mean, was that the nail in the coffin for Coach Early?
I certainly think it doesn't help. I mean, for where they were to where they got in the middle of the season, and I mean, they're going to need to win this weekend, and they're going to need a hell of a lot of help to back in somewhere. I mean, at 10-17 right now, heading into the final week is not a great spot. Yeah, that's rough. Shout out to Missouri though. I mean, shit, they keep winning. So more power to them, and they'll 6. If they can get to 6 wins, that would be about 6 more than we all thought. So
right. All right, here's a good one. Logan Criswell gives us a hypothetical. If we win this series against Florida, a sizzling hot Florida team, although I don't know that they play that as well as like in basketball. It's like, how'd you do in your last 12 or your last 10? If we win those 2 or 3, how many games in Hoover do you think would be enough to get a top 8 seed? He's thinking way ahead. All right, Megan, shaking your head. You think top 8 is out of the question?
Yeah, kind of firmly.
Too much got to happen.
Yeah,
maybe we sweep and win all our games. I mean,
if you sweep and make it to like Saturday at Hoover,
okay.
That's what I was thinking. At least 4,
maybe 4. Maybe 4 wins. 2 at Florida and 2 in 6.
2 and 2. Problem is you got to bump somebody. Somebody else has got to get bumped, and there's so much going on in front of you. And I mean, teams are playing each other, and it's right. I kind of tend to feel that way. Heather Overstreet, what's the strategy to be successful in Gainesville this weekend? How do we tell me how we won 2 games when we talk again next Monday or Tuesday, whenever.
Hopefully we hit better than 217.
Riley and Zane both go 7 innings.
Yeah. 7? Okay. All right.
Spade gets us past 6 for the first time, and also we get a couple of we're
Mhm.
pretty good at getting those 2 out 3-run home runs or 2 out
Right.
2-run home runs after a late free walk or something like
I was
that.
gonna say
So
that's a Will Hodo special. He's gonna
yeah,
show
or
up and
the,
hit this
it was
weekend.
Snell had the one, Richie had one, Staten had one last week at Vandy on Sunday. So just
Mhm.
need a few of those because it's kind of tough for us to just string about 5 singles in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need to, work some more walks like we did this weekend.
Right.
Because that had definitely gone down for a few weeks. We were getting like two a game.
Because like you said, or somebody said earlier, their pitching staff's probably gettable and thin. And you just gotta have a plan going up to the plate there. On a similar vein, Hayes Flowers has this one. Who do you think will need to show up and be their best to win this series? I got one on this one. I think it's got to be a big time Justin LeBron weekend.
LeBron, that was me. And and you look back the last 5 games. I mean, he's had the big game at Troy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was the leading hitter. He was 5 for 11 this weekend. Nobody else had more than 4 hits.
Yeah.
So
right. I think he goes ham this weekend, and we get 2 out of 3. Very, very good. I'll reword this one. Speak to the Alton Davis situation. Again, and I mentioned, high profile transfers in the conference that I can think of. The big ones have been Holman to LSU. Holman came back, threw a really good game against us. I think everybody just took it. And I mean, Holman was great. I mean, Holman did a lot for us. Hated he left. Hope he does well. Shelton, we knew he's probably going by home, and things have worked out pretty well in Florida for him. Although the injuries, I don't know. He's, I guess he's just kind of furthered his stock in doing what he has done there the last couple of years that he probably would have done similarly here. AD, I can't feel like the move has benefited him. Although I think we've talked about it amongst ourselves that, big left-hander reliever throwing 97, there's a place for him. That's a desirable draft pick, whether his name is Alton Davis or, Joe Smith. I mean, Hunter, speak to that one a little bit.
I mean, obviously we didn't see him all weekend.
Right.
And he's a guy who, and I said this in our group chat last night, he's the one that frustrated me the most. Mm-hmm. He's the one that he become one of my favorite players, would drive to the Joe, listen to Till I Collapse, to get ready for the game, or Desperado, Meghan. And for him to leave, I feel like he kind of had a legacy here, especially after that freshman season, and did some things in his sophomore season. I thought like he had built a little bit of a legacy, and that's just all gone now. And I don't think he has anything like that in Athens.
No. And it will be very interesting this summer how the draft shakes out. If he declares, if he stays there. I mean, he didn't a lot of innings. I mean, he's got to.
Yeah.
He's got. Yep. Go ahead, Roger.
No, you don't have to declare. So I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
So I mean, he's gonna get drafted. I mean, he's 6'5" lefty that throws 97. He's getting drafted.
Right.
Also, right. Paul, you didn't mention Zane Denton.
Exactly.
I will say though, I mean, I know we've talked about it at multiple points too. It's outside of really Colby and Luke. There's only, I mean,
Max Williams is really tearing it up.
Yeah, and Max Williams. Thank you. That was the third.
He's getting drafted this year too.
Yeah. But outside of those 3, there's not any other guys that I'm like, oh man, I really wish that they didn't leave.
Right.
Obviously, I hate to see guys go. They can pursue whatever, but it's not like we're losing a bunch of guys and they're outside of those 3 that they're all Americans, and we're like, well, shit, there goes a whole team. It's like, well,
and Max didn't even play in hardly ever in 2020.
It's not like we were torn up to see Max leave.
Yeah,
and it's the nature of the business.
Right.
You just got to go out and get somebody that's as good or better, and we seemingly have done that with a lot of these guys, except for the 3 or 4 you mentioned probably, and even in some cases, I mean. We talk about Zane Denton. Well, when Colby Shelton came in right behind him, we didn't miss a beat there. Now Colby left, and we've been Gage Miller comes in, matches him up, right? I mean, Torres hadn't been Gage Miller, but he's been serviceable. I mean, it's you just got to do enough to. But the team's been better, right? I mean, it's a better team, so there's a lot at play here. Here we go. Good one from Terry Buchanan, team parent. Really pleased with the professionalism all weekend. The rescheduling was excellent. The tarp execution flawless, not easy. And squeezed in all the senior and Mother's Day stuff as well. Bravo! So he gives a fist bump. I really appreciate that. Colson Buchanan's dad with more flowers for the ground crew especially. Will LeGrone, will we turn to Q for Thursday night game and then Faye then Adams? I think we've addressed that. Nobody thinks we're going to flip the starting rotation this week, do you?
I don't.
Okay. All right.
I think so, but
we'll see when the tweet comes out on Thursday. Here's one, and I'll touch on it. It's kind of a longer read here. Chris Alexander about basically fans loudly criticizing our own guys and then attacks on other players, and he mentions namely Alton Davis in this particular weekend. Really, encouraging people to be more loyal, encouraging a bit better fan base. I mean,
I didn't hear any of that this weekend. I wasn't out in right field.
Right.
But I mean, I didn't hear anybody, on AD.
No.
I think there was some social media stuff, just some tweets and things about, kind of banging on AD a little bit for leaving or the grass
isn't always. I thought that was harmless.
Yeah, the grass and greener. Yeah,
that's
I mean, that's not.
Yeah,
I mean, I spoke with Alton a few minutes before Friday, and then I talked to his dad a good while during the rain delay. Mm-hmm. really nice man.
Right,
and they were fine.
Yeah, I will say this. Chris makes a good point, and this is something we all need to probably remember. No pitcher wakes up thinking, let's serve up a few bombs today. These are young athletes completing at an elite level, and they deserve our backing through the highs and lows, especially with the transfer portal era in full swing. Creating a supportive environment matters. I do say that. I mean, we agonize over these. I mean, like I was just dying yesterday about, that third game and we talk about that, but I mean,
throw strikes, son. I promise the guy didn't go out there and go, well, I'm not going to throw a strike. I swear.
Right.
I'm do my best not to throw a strike.
I can guarantee you the day that Oz went out there and Vandy, knocked him around in the ninth inning and walked us off. Nobody felt worse about that than Carson Osmer, even though you think you did. Yeah. Nobody felt worse about it than him that day.
And we all think Kate Snell should have called that fly ball, and I guarantee you no one thinks that worse or more so than he did himself. And he probably catches that 9 out of 10 times or whatever.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well,
I blame the umpire. I blame the umpires. Usually my first if I'm looking at who to blame, I'm going to go with the umpires or the other team got lucky. That's what I try to do.
Or the third base coach.
Smart strategy. Yeah.
That works more so in basketball when a guy gets hot from three. Yeah, he's just getting lucky. But really try hard not to bang on a guy. I mean, I think if you say Snell should have caught that ball in left field, I don't think that's too bad because, but if it's like somebody
he says that himself.
Yeah. If somebody like if LeBron kicks the ball, Staten boots the ball, I mean, Hodo drops, that's a little different because they didn't want to drop it. They didn't want to not catch it. So
Hodo just wants to drop it to get under Hunter's skin. That's why he's dropping it.
I was about to say I hadn't brought it up yet, but speaking of hating on, and I didn't hate on him last year. I was always kind of hoping his mom wasn't listening, but he has a 987 fielding percentage this year, Will Hodo. And if you're listening this year and didn't listen last year, I bagged on his defense a little bit last year, and he's done very, very well this year. And I felt I owe a mea culpa on that.
Paul, on that Chris thing, was it Chris Alexander?
Chris Alexander, yeah.
I want to just say how after watching the Tennessee Vandy stuff, Tennessee every week, Tennessee somebody.
Shook out. Yeah.
the Georgia guys with the walking around and the beating the chest and the
Mhm.
outright arguing with the umpire. And I mean, how do you let a player stay in the game after?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that was no shirt guy, no shirt too. Wasn't it?
Yeah,
But
Hunter.
There were lots of
Hunter-
them that did
I
that.
mean, but like,
but
that
no shirt,
really
yeah,
like
no
had
button.
a long conversation with him. But I just how refreshing it is to see how professional and respectful our guys play.
Yeah, they carry themselves very well.
And team in general. They,
Right.
I mean, whole staff and everything. You know, Rob's gotten upset, Mo's gotten upset. I mean, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, the players are always under control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We don't, you know, they may turn around and ask the umpire, where was that or whatever, or look at him, but we haven't had any of that kind of
mm-hmm.
stuff. And, you know, every kid from T-ball on pimps a home run, but
Yes.
I mean, but some of the stuff, you know, that I hate to harp on Tennessee, but Tennessee, well, I don't hate to, but you know, all the way back to was it
They started it.
Jordan
21.
Beck or who was it with
Yeah.
the shooting the
21. The
throwing
dude
the
throwing the
birds
bird
up.
up on the
Jordan Beck. That was Jordan Beck. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Tony V coming out and chest pumping the umpire when we were up there when they were convinced that we were stealing signs and Zane didn't hit a line drive up the middle that hurt the pitcher on purpose.
Stealing signs is not illegal.
I know, and it's not illegal. I mean, and you know, if Zane's good enough to purposely hit the pitcher with a line drive, then you know he should be playing somewhere.
That's why they wanted him to play there.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, I just wanted to say how, you know, what a great group of young men and great leadership they have from the staff.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, to behave the way that they do.
Right. While we were sitting here and doing this with the, you know, the midweek scourge of the late midweek cancellations, Mississippi State canceled their North Alabama game for probably tomorrow night, I assume. So there you go. You see these teams that kind of, you know, right on that verge. They'll need to play an RPI team with a 200 something ranking, and you're seeing that. So you don't expect that one to be the last this week that happens with. All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. Hunter, glad to have you back.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Appreciate you joining. Appreciate the regular crew being here. We've got 3 with Florida starting Thursday night. We go Thursday night. We go Friday night. We go Saturday. I have no idea what the times are.
4:30,
5:30, and 3.
Yeah.
4:30, 5:30, and 3.
5:30, 5:30.
5:30, 5:30, and 3. They have it listed.
5:30, and 3, and those are all God's time, Central Time.
Right.
Yep.
And
I think they're all SEC plus this week.
They
They're
are
all
plus.
They're all plus. Yeah.
Right.
And it's also going to be 90 something degrees. So finally baseball weather.
Yeah. I'll tell you this today. I had a family friend had to go to a funeral today and was outside the Greek cathedral downtown at about 1 o'clock as they were, bringing the coffin into the hearse. And it was the first time this year it's felt like summer. I was in a charcoal suit and on the sidewalk in downtown Birmingham. It felt like summer. So you knew it was here. And then, of course, the thunderstorms came through and cooled it off. But, we really didn't get a lot of hot weather games this year at home. Maybe we'll get them in the regional in 3 weeks.
Well, you know, Hoover will be.
Yeah, Hoover will be. Absolutely. But great show again, guys. A lot covered. Big week coming up, big weekend coming up. Lots going to shake out. I mean, the world's going to look a lot different by Saturday night at midnight, and hopefully it works out on our end. Again, thanks Griffin Smith, Meghan Dennis, Drew Champlin, Roger Myers, Hunter Johnson, Christian Sykes. Hope you feel better. He had to sit out on us tonight. Did not feel well, but thanks to him and Crimson Crossover for always being a part of these. Thanks to Peter Sly and Camp Land for carrying us out with our theme song. And we will see you next week with another edition of the Weekly Joe.
Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew and a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Well, it's Bama